Join us for this rare episode of Beyond the Network with special guest Bana Quashu Young, the visionary founder of BanaTech. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Network. I'm Jeanne Duca, Chief Marketing Officer for BCN, and today I'm thrilled to be joined by Bana Quashu, Managing Partner and founder of BanaTech Consulting. Welcome to the program, Bana.
Thanks for having me, Jeannie. I'm very excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you. And, Bana, you have been kind of a recognized voice in this channel for over 15 years. That must feel amazing and surreal at times. What's it been like for you, and how did you come to the channel in the first place?
Honestly, when I was promoted from direct sales into the channel, my follow-up question to that was, and this is many moons ago, was what is a channel? And over the years, you realize that the channel has always been about relationships and with smart, driven, entrepreneurial uh,
Right.
folks that, bringing this ecosystem together with such great innovation and technology and just adding that value. I
Hmm.
started on the vendor side, fascinated by how partners could scale faster than any single company could do on its own in the technology space with their
Hmm.
clients. And once you understand that, that the channels where collaboration meets creativity and innovation, then you don't leave it. You build in it and you build on some of those kind of values, if you will, within the channel.
Sure, that's so true. I couldn't agree more. And I was going to follow up, and you mentioned that you started on the vendor side, and you are in a position where you have a really rare 360-degree view of this business, vendor, distributor, advisor, and that must be so interesting to see it from so many different perspectives, but also how does that shape your view of the business?
Well, it's given me empathy to have seen every side of the business. I've seen what it takes for a vendor to launch a program and really establish themselves in the channel.
Mhm.
Um, how distributors have to manage the complexity of the constant change within technology and the constant leveling up, if you will, of trusted advisors and partners that are in this space or next generation advisors. So navigating all that and what it means for partners and buyers to navigate technology space. I think that was the most eye-opening is spending
Mhm.
this
Mhm.
past year closely connected to a lot of the sellers in the field and just seeing the dance. It reminded me of my direct sales days. So
Uh-huh.
that full circle perspective helps me design strategies that truly align with all the stakeholders that are involved in the sales process, not just from a revenue standpoint, but from an operational and strategic, and quite frankly, a human standpoint, right?
Right, right.
So,
And you mentioned relationships, and isn't it true? I mean, I said in a previous episode that, the channel used to be the best kept secret. When you were in it, you loved it.
yeah.
And once people got into it, they thought, wow, this is great. How come I wasn't here before? Right. And
Yeah. How did we not discover it? And
I
and
know,
now
but
it's
but the
been
relationships are so key, and I think knowing you the way I do and having been around you, your ability to connect with people, those relationships, I really see those as a key driver for your success and what's ahead of you with Banatech.
I appreciate that, Jeannie. I genuinely am interested in the success of not only the channel, but those that are involved in it. And
Hmm.
so I approach every relationship with purpose. And part of the reason why I reached this point where I needed to create something of my own to find that collaborative power within the channel to tie the vendor with the distributor, with the partner, referral partner to
Hmm.
ultimately serve the customer the best we can. That where it wasn't just about revenue and quota, I certainly want to build a profitable company that's sustainable and scalable in the future. It's about reimagining how the channel is going to work in the future. Things are changing fast and evolving fast. Having the great interest of capital markets into our channel
Hmm.
is a formidable opportunity. I know some people may
Absolutely.
disagree, but it brings a whole new opportunity that we once have not seen, and it adds
Mhm.
credibility to what we're bringing our clients. It's just a whole new level.
That's a really good point. And I think that, for many years, those of us who have been in the channel for so long, we didn't always have that credibility, gravitas, among the bigger technology community. And now major carriers are focusing more and more on the indirect channel. You see them moving more and more towards our side of the business to help them be successful. And I think that just lends to the value that technology advisors can bring to the customer, that companies like BCN can bring to partners and technology advisors like you. So I agree that that credibility has changed incredibly. And you're right, the interest of capital markets and having someone look over and go, that's a cool business. We
Yeah.
like that business, right? So it's just more and more validation for what we do and how successful we can be.
And look at all the investments you've made, BCN has made into the channel, and some of the hires you've made, and the
Yes.
leveling up and upskilling of the partners. And
Mhm.
you've innovated with the channel. I mean, it's a true testament as to what's happening. It's adapt, adopt, or sell.
Right.
Those are your three
Exactly.
options. You know,
Exactly.
seeing some of the gaps that are in the channel today. You have vendors that have been in the channel for many, many moons, and
Mhm.
they're like, okay, how do we fill that gap between strategy and execution, given the fact that we've made all these investments over the years? Like,
Mhm.
what kind of refresh do we need? So those are some of the things that, in looking at the trifecta, if you will, and having worked for all three categories or solution providers, you notice there's a way to bridge all these gaps, whether
Yeah.
it's consulting with the vendors or quite frankly, helping and enabling some of the referrals, strategic partners that are out in the marketplace to ultimately provide the customer with that consultative approach and what we're calling the diamond standard in channel strategy as a service.
Tell me more about that. I see the diamonds in your logo.
The vision was to create the diamond standard because it's something precise and clear and enduring. And so I wanted a firm that brings luxury service to this community so that we can have enterprise and measurable results that are driven by such standard to both
Right.
the client, which ultimately results in revenue, right? But our
Yes.
approach is enterprise consulting at the true heart of it so that we're in a true partnership,
Hmm.
which ultimately satisfies some of the KPIs or milestones, if you will, that we put in
Sure.
place, whether it's finding the right solution for our customer or having a vendor refresh that's up to that luxury standard.
I
It's
like that. When you're creating that identity, putting some of yourself into that identity, it just makes it more exciting for you to work inside that new organization and encourage others to come in and join you, or how you present yourself when you're out at the shows, out in the market, meeting with people. I mean, it gives you that foundation from which to speak. And I think that's always one of the hardest things is how do you start the conversation? By designing this diamond strategy, it gives you that foundation from which to jump, right? That's your jumping off point. Tell me about BanaTech Consulting. Well, let me tell you about our diamond strategy. And that gets you right into the heart of the conversation. So I love that.
it's a boutique that operates with that rigor of enterprise consulting, and
Hmm.
boutique means intentional. As capital markets get more and more interested, we have to level up in terms of our way of going about business and
Hmm.
how we consult, how we work with our vendor partners alike, with our referral partners or even direct to the client. That was part of the goal and where the diamond standard was born.
You've been doing this for so long in this industry. When did that, when did it first occur to you, or when did you know, wow, this is something I want to do? I want to do this. I want to have my own company. I want to chart my own course. When did that first become the dream that you wanted to chase and make come true?
So I've always had the itch. I came from entrepreneurial parents. So
Ah,
my mom sold a business in Jordan after owning it for 10 years and having a sustainable, profitable business. And my father had quite a few consulting jobs and worked for the
mhm.
UN, the World Bank, et cetera. So outside the scope of our technology space, but that same drive, I suppose you can't run away from.
Right.
It's embedded. Is it a risk and is it scary? Absolutely. But you
Hmm.
know what I found? I go back to the channel. The original trusted advisors, the original agents that started
Yeah.
this whole channel to begin with, have been mentors to me.
Hmm.
And many of them were instrumental. You think of the Wizard of Oz, and you had someone that gave you heart, courage. I was so fortunate to have over 100 years of experience, right?
Hmm.
Bestow upon me both feedback, some of it harsh, right?
Right.
Well, which is awesome. I mean, how else
Hmm.
do you build a business? You can't have yes men and women around you all the time, right? Like you need
Right.
those mirrors. Well, some were so helpful. Some went as far as provided me with some of their tools and resources, right? So it's not all reliant on just organic creation.
Right. Right.
So I have never been so grateful in my entire life. And part of our value prop as BanaTech is to ensure that we pay that forward.
Hmm.
Because if you look at the original, say 25 to 30 partners that
Right.
that were influential in the space, they all collaborated. They worked together. They were a peer group, you know. They ensured that though they might be enemies or frenemies within a customer or a particular client, they still had a purpose of building a channel.
Yes. Yeah.
Bring that back, right?
Hmm.
Only now we're just much bigger of a channel. So how do
Right.
we manage that as a channel? Because
Hmm.
it's important. We forget that we need successors that follow our footsteps, that we're not going to be here forever. And
Right.
so I feel very fortunate to have had a lot of these mentors. And if you guys are listening, I really do appreciate and I'm thankful for what you've done. Now, ironically, as I was at one of the TSD events recently,
Hmm.
Bo Hendrick from Intellis,
Oh, yes.
he, I'm going to give you a plug, Bo. He looks at me and he goes, "You finally did it. I'm so proud of you." And I don't want to get emotional but who cares?
Years.
He reminded me that 4 years ago, he had come up with BanaTech.
Oh, really?
Yes, we were at a lunch. I could remember the lunch. And he said, "You like ought to just start BanaTech or Bana University or," and so
Right.
he reminded me and I was like, I knew it wasn't original.
I like that. I like that. But
Yeah,
you talk about the mentorship that you've had and the guidance that you've been fortunate enough to have. But I would say, you have to be open to that, right? You have to be the
oh yeah,
kind of person that's open to receiving that feedback, to accepting it, to acting on it, right?
yeah,
And not everybody is like that. Some people want to think they know exactly how to do it and they really don't want the help, or they ask for help, but then they don't really listen. And I
yeah,
think that it's really a two-way street. I mean, certainly you're grateful for the people who have allowed you to kind of ask questions and listen to them. But a lot of it is you being open to taking it is so important, and not everybody has that. Not everybody's willing to be like that.
No, and the biggest shift is mindset. I
Yeah.
mean, so I may not have heeded your advice today, right? But you never know when you're going to tap into that advice. It doesn't mean that I didn't listen. It means
Hmm.
that I have other advisors. I've been so fortunate since the inception of BanaTech to have advisors reach out and are now part of our non-visible crew is what I call it.
Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
in presenting to our clients, one of the things I say is that I have over 100 years experience at my disposal in the present moment through some of my advisors that have stepped up. And I'm talking from CISOs to CTOs to
Right.
advisors that are helping with event management. I am not shy to take on anybody's help as we build this empire that I plan on building. But I'll repeat this. The biggest shift is mindset.
Hmm.
Shifting a mindset is not easy. Even shifting from having KPIs assigned to me, whether I'm leading a team or not, to suddenly becoming my own boss, shifting that mindset and my approach with my everyday has been a change, right? The
Hmm.
channel has to shift its mindset too, and you've seen that transition over the last 5 years, especially
Hmm.
where we used to be transactional and it was about programs and tiers and margin, and now it's about ecosystems and
Right.
enablement and
Right.
long-term value. Like, what are we bringing to the table? So partners today want more empowerment and visibility and not the cookie cutter, like this is the way we've always done it, or here are the incentives or the spiffs or the MDF that's provided. Once you adapt to like that mind shift and that mindset change, or
Hmm.
the shift in mindset, then you'll win the next decade because it is changing.
The value that a technology advisor can bring to a customer, whether it's, small, medium, all the way up to enterprise. Things are so complex today.
Mm.
The things that companies are trying to do, whether it's introduce AI applications or AI components in their processes, all of those kinds of things make their requirements for infrastructure and solutions so much more complex that you have to rise with that tide. You
Mhm.
have to be able to bring that and have the expertise and know the right questions to ask. And we see that as just such a big shift and such a change and for everybody.
The technology folks, but you're talking to everyone from the CEO to the CFO because everybody has a genuine interest in how it will upskill
Hmm.
their internal employees while at
Exactly.
the same time providing the best customer experience. And I do think that the second biggest one to watch is customer experience, not
Hmm.
just from contact center as a service. We're talking about just delivering technology efficiencies. This has become a boardroom metric and not just an IT function. And so channel programs must align with a lot of
Hmm.
these measurable outcomes and not just a technological discussion or a
Right.
checklist. And we've
Hmm.
heard a lot of folks say that, but we really need to apply it in the way we consult with our clients.
Exactly. Exactly. And what is it that changes, in your opinion, about the technology, the pieces of technology and how those come together in a solution? What's changed about that when you talk to customers about supporting the way they are using AI to enable a better business process or to enable, you know, better delivery to their customers? What is it that's changing that underlies what they need for infrastructure and layered services?
To take a look at the overall business goals, right? So I was fortunate to be client facing with a lot of the folks that were at the Global AI Summit. A lot of them are navigating this space. So your customers are out there trying to figure this out, folks. And
Right.
and the channel could be instrumental in helping them navigate that space.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because they're not looking at it from a singular lens. Your legal team may need different AI tools than what your customer-facing marketing team needs versus what your engineering team may need or your ops team. And so it becomes a discussion around efficiencies and creating an assessment that includes all various divisions within that. We are
Mhm.
happy to help with that.
I think what you're
Yeah.
saying is, it gets back to that consultative selling where you're not just walking in going, here's what I have, what do you want to buy? Right?
Yep.
It's let us help you determine what you need based on what your goals are, what your plans are, what your business demands, what your customers are asking of you. And I think when it starts with that kind of conversation, the outcome is always going to be better because you and your team are working with your resources to define and deliver a solution that actually meets the need that exists.
1,000%. I
Right.
think one of your questions to me was, how do you plan on future-proofing operations?
Yes, absolutely.
And the one way to do it is by showing them that you're a partner, hence the boutique. Like I have said no to some folks, even though, when starting a business, you really can't afford to, but at the same time, you can't maintain a diamond standard by offering everything to everybody, especially if
Right.
it's not the right fit. Future proofing is just that. It's being an extension of their team as opposed to yet another consultant walking in the door.
I love it. Well, I think that I would say that just from talking with you, the people who are working closely with you, the people who are working for you, the people who will eventually work with you are certainly fortunate
I
because
appreciate that.
your intention, the truth that you bring to what you're trying to deliver is really is going to serve everyone well. And I know that just from following you on LinkedIn and having known you that you are also a yoga instructor, you're an Ayurveda, health advisor. Tell me how that really adds to your leadership style because I see a lot of the tenets that you talk about are also present in those practices.
So yes, it's very important to me. It's actually everything. Business and leadership is energy too. And energy has to be managed intentionally. Whether it's yoga taught me presence and awareness. And it's
Mhm.
so interesting being in this seat. Those that know me know that I'm an emotional being. But it's amazing how now knowing that you have the responsibility for a team and for people and for humans, whether it's your clients or the intern that I hope to soon hire or additional, you know, um, referral partners, there's something about the presence and the responsibility that changes within. And that's all part of that yogic growth. And I don't want to get into too much of the woo-hoo. Ayurveda teaches you balance. And though I'm still seeking that since I haven't slept since August, um, I try to lead the same way, right? Until people get to know me very well, they may seem reluctant or skeptical. How can she smile all the time? How can she be so bubbly? And quite frankly, you only live once, and to take everything so seriously all the time is a waste of energy. And so, and
It's
by the
true.
way, like any emotion that's aside from happy or is a negative impact on your physical body. Well, health
There you
tidbit.
go.
You'll note that or maybe you haven't seen it yet, but we've been very active on social media. I posted our values, our 10 W's that we live by.
Hmm.
And one of them is ensuring that wealth in both health and overall is instrumental.
Hmm.
Well-being is also part of our 10 W's of success and our values. Those are all important. And so whatever your yoga may be, whether it's running or cycling or then by all means make sure that it's part of your fiber because whether you like it or not, we're transferring that energy in our business, in our day-to-day, regardless of where you sit in the organization. So it's important. and it's
It's
part of our.
wonderful. It's wonderful to have that as a foundation and to be able to draw on both sides of the equation, right? To make a happy whole. And I love that. This has been so much fun. I'm so thrilled for you, as I know many people are. You've made such great relationships in this channel and in the business that it's nice to have all that energy that you put out come back to you. And we look forward to seeing how fast and how far you go. And we really, really appreciate you and have always loved interacting with you in whatever roles you've been in the channel. So best of luck to you and the BanaTech team with your diamond strategy and all the great things that you have ahead of you.
Thank you so much, Jeannie. It means a lot, and I look forward to growing with BCN in the
For
next year
sure.
because
That
we
goes without saying. Yeah, let us know. Let us know what we can do to support you, as always.
that would be wonderful. And thanks for having me.
Wonderful. I really enjoyed it. Have a great, great afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening and stay tuned for more episodes where we take you beyond the network with BCN.